What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com. Here are my DFS picks for MLB Saturday, August 6th. These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our new videos. In this video, I'm going to go over my top picks for today's MLB slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay guys, we have an 8-game slate tonight, so let's take a look at the pitcher position. So a stud on the slate that I like, he's in a great spot. Take a look at Carlos Rodon. He's got a nice pitching advantage here over a low salary batting team, the Oakland Athletics. Carlos Rodon only giving up a .559 OPS versus righties. He's facing 8 righties here tonight. And on top of that, the Athletics have only hit 4 of his last 38 pitches. That's a 105 batting average. He's 10,600 FanDuel salary, 1,100 less on DraftKings. So I love that DraftKings price. Averaging 39 fantasy points per game on the season. He has an ERA of 3. Record is 9-6. Pitching an average of 96 pitches per game. And Vegas thinks this is going to be a low-scoring game. 7.5 runs scored in this game. That's their over-under. So I like Carlos Rodon here versus the Oakland Athletics. Now, if you're looking for a lower salary pitcher, there's a couple guys I got my eye on here. One of them is Nathan Eovaldi, facing a low salary batting team in the Kansas City Royals. The Royals have hit 8 of his last 30 pitches. That's a 267 batting average. He's 8,300 FanDuel salary, 1,000 less on DraftKings, and he's averaging 29 fantasy points per game on the season. So I think he's in a decent spot. But I also like Michael Kopech, pitching against the low salary batting team, the Texas Rangers. Michael Kopech, pretty balanced pitcher here, and he's facing 3 lefties, 4 righties, 2 switch hitters. Now the Rangers are 2 for 12 versus Kopech. It's a 167 batting average, small sample size, but a good start. He's 8,200 FanDuel salary, 700 less on DraftKings, averaging 25 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored 28, 34, and 21 fantasy points in his last 3 games. Has an ERA of 3.12. Record is 4-7, pitching an average of 84 pitches per game. So I like Michael Kopech here versus the Texas Rangers. Okay guys, it's time to announce the winner of our $25 weekly PayPal giveaway. And the winner is Victor Hollingsworth. Victor Hollingsworth, congratulations. You are the winner of this week's $25 PayPal giveaway. Please reply to our comment to collect your prize. Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching. If you want to enter the drawing for $25 PayPal, all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won. And then we'll send you $25 PayPal. So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you. Okay, let's take a look at the catcher first base position. Stud that I like is Freddy Freeman. He's got a 52% batting advantage over Mike Clevinger. Freddy Freeman batting 16% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .967 OPS versus righties. Mike Clevinger pitching his worst ball versus lefty batters, 35% worse than his other pitches, giving up a .768 OPS versus lefties. There's no at-bats versus Clevinger. He's 4,200 FanDuel salary, 1,400 more on DraftKings, averaging 13 fantasy points per game on the season, and he has a batting average of .324. He scored fantasy points in all 5 of his last games, so I like Freddy Freeman here versus Mike Clevenger. Now I also like Dalton Varshall. He's got a 17% batting advantage over a low salary pitcher, Antonio Senzatella. Dalton Varshall batting 13% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .772 OPS versus righties. Antonio Senzatella pitching his worst ball versus lefty batters, giving up a .849 OPS versus lefties. And I like this pick because Dalton Varshall is 4 for 8. It's a .500 batting average and a 1.181 OPS versus Senzatella. He's $2,900 FanDuel salary, $800 more on DraftKings, averaging 10 fantasy points per game on the season. Then he's got a batting average of .240, scored fantasy points in 4 out of his last 5 games. So I like Dalton Varshall here versus Antonio Senzatella. Okay, let's take a look at the second base position. So we already went over Gavin Lux, but take a look at Gleyber Torres. He's got a 51% batting advantage over Jordan Montgomery. Gleyber Torres batting 20% better versus lefty pitchers, batting a .843 OPS versus lefties. Jordan Montgomery pitching 31% worse to righties as he does lefties, giving up a .673 OPS versus righties. There's no at-bats versus Montgomery yet. He's $3,100 FanDuel salary, $1,400 more on DraftKings. He's averaging 9 fantasy points per game on the season, and he's got a batting average of .254. Now, he has been in a slump recently, only scoring fantasy points 1 out of the last 5 games. But he is in a good spot, so I like Gleyber Torres here versus Jordan Montgomery. Okay, let's take a look at the third base position. I like Josh Rojas with, batting against the low salary pitcher Antonio Senzatella. Josh Rojas batting a .743 OPS versus righties. Antonio Senzatella pitching his worst ball versus lefty batters, giving up a .849 OPS versus lefties. Josh Rojas is 6 for 14 here versus Senzatella. It's a .429 batting average and a 1.181 OPS. One of those hits is a home run. He's only $2,800 FanDuel salary, $1,700 more on DraftKings, averaging 10 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored fantasy points in 4 out of his last 5 games. He has a batting average of .272. So I like Josh Rojas here versus Antonio Senzatella. Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all of our DFS tools for all sports. You can try the Position Optimizer, where you can see the top players ranked for each position. And we added a new Player Trends tool, where you can see the top salary differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. It's a really good tool to help you pick out value for the site that you're playing on. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups. Okay, moving on to the shortstop position. I like Bobby Witt Jr. He's got a 19% batting advantage here over Nathan Eovaldi. Bobby Witt Jr., he's batting 13% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .776 OPS versus righties. Nathan Eovaldi pitching his worst ball versus righty batters, giving up a .759 OPS versus righties. Bobby Witt Jr., he's $3,200 FanDuel salary, $1,500 more on DraftKings, averaging 11 fantasy points per game on the season. He has a batting average of .257, so I like Bobby Witt Jr. here versus Nathan Eovaldi. Okay, moving on to the outfield position. Of course, you've got the guy that's just on a tear this season, Aaron Judge. It's like this guy is just putting in work every single game. He scored fantasy points in 5 out of the last 5 games, nothing lower than a 9. and 3 of those games were over 21 fantasy points. 2 of them were over 31 fantasy points. This guy's just absolutely crushing it. Batting average of 300. He's getting expensive on both sites, but it's hard to fade this player as he can go 30 plus any given night. So of course, Aaron Judge is a home run hitter in a good spot. But now let's take a look at a value play here. Take a look at Luis Gonzalez with a 35% batting advantage over a low salary pitcher, Adam Oller. Luis Gonzalez batting 38% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .916 OPS versus righties. Adam Oller giving up a .951 OPS versus lefties. There's no at-bats versus Oller yet. And Luis Gonzalez is $2,400 FanDuel salary, $400 less on DraftKings, averaging 9 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored fantasy points in 4 out of his last 5 games, has a batting average of .283. So I like Luis Gonzalez as a value play here versus Adam Oller. Now another value play I think is interesting on this slate is Jake Cave. He's got a 57% batting advantage against the low salary pitcher, Mitch White. Jake Cave batting 52% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .852 OPS versus righties. Mitch White pitching his worst ball versus lefty batters, giving up a .678 OPS versus lefties. But I like this pick because Jake Cave, only $2,100 FanDuel salary, $100 less on DraftKings, averaging 9 fantasy points per game on the season, scored fantasy points in all 5 of his last games. He has a batting average of .333. So I like Jake Cave as a value play here versus Mitch White. If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this MLB slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.